I want to make my own version of Fallout Shelter. Fallout Shelter was a part of my daily routine. I'd wake up, I'd have breakfast, check on my vault, then I'd send my guys out on missions and I'd head to work. At some point, Bethesda decided to fatally update Fallout Shelter on the Xbox PC Pass. This resulted in breaking the game and making it so it couldn't even load up past like the starting screen. So between those issues and me just thinking the game is pretty cool, I want to make my own version of the game. Something that was a little different, but had all the same cool features that Fallout Shelter had. So the rooms in Fallout Shelter are three-dimensional. They're not just 2D sprites in the background. They're actually fully built three-dimensional rooms, and that's what gives it this cool kind of effect. So we can make our own. I'm holding control to move this by increments here. It's 15-degree increments. Now if I hold V when I'm moving things, I can snap them in place, which makes life a lot easier when I'm trying to do some of this level design. So you can see when we move our camera, we have that kind of depth effect that Fallout Shelter has. Now if I change this to an orthographic view, it's more two-dimensional. So I can make my screen bigger here. That's not the effect that we want to go for. This perspective is much better for the type of game that we're working on. And you can see just how cool that effect kind of is already. So I want to turn this whole thing into a prefab so that we just have a room. And I want to make sure my positions are all set to 0. And if your stuff's a little offset, try to do your best to get it close to where that prefab was at the 0. You can always just move it around afterwards. So I created a prefabs folder and a materials folder. For the prefabs folder, I'm going to drag our prefab room down here. And I want to create another room. So now we have 2 rooms here. And I'm not going to have them directly next to each other. My walls, they could be overlapping. Yeah, they definitely are. So I'm going to separate them like that. If we look at Fallout Shelter, the rooms here all have this thick black line between them. This kind of allows for a lot of different transitions, some illusion and tricks for when we create new rooms. It makes things more dynamic. And we can recreate that by making a simple plane. And we want to make this black, so I'm going to go to that materials folder I just made. I'm going to create a new material. And I'm just going to change the color to black. I'm going to rename it to black. I can either drag it to the material, or on the plane itself under the mesh renderer, I can add it here. And you can see the light is affecting this. So I don't want this to cast any shadows, and I don't want any light probes, reflections, or anything. I just want this to be black. And down here in the materials, I can also adjust this. So if I put the metallic up and the smoothness at 0, we can see we just have a solid black color now. I'm going to hide my second room here and just focus on setting up the planes on the first room. Each room should have this black border around it. And what I just did, I changed my perspective in the editor to that orthographic view. And when I zoomed in, everything kind of disappeared. I pressed F to focus on the object that I'm trying to edit or move around. And this doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to tweak this as we go. But I want to get that border in here. I'm pressing Control D to duplicate what I'm working on. Now I zoom back out and I can see I'm definitely going to have to adjust this because there's some holes here. But now that looks pretty good. Now that we've made our changes, we want to apply all of these changes to our room. So when we go back to this one, we now have those planes in place as well. And now we can adjust where we want this room placed. So I designed my rooms a little bit more in depth, and I'll use what I refer to as, I guess, 1 slot and 2 slot and 3 slot rooms, which is just how wide each room is. So I customize each of these and I turn them into their own prefabs here. So the only thing I would say that I would note that was special about doing these is that when I'm designing these rooms, I'm making sure I'll pull this out. I took out this left wall here because if I'm putting a door here on the right hand side, it's going to overlap into the prefab in the next room. So if I put this back, it looks like it's all connected together. If I had put a door here on the left hand side of the prefab, when we put these in place, there would be 2 doors here overlapping each other, which can cause some issues or make things look a little weird. So, and then on the right hand side, that's where I have the doors on each prefab. So just to show you real quick, each prefab kind of looks like this. There's just a room, however you want to design it, and then the doors on the right, and I left this wall empty.